Hello and welcome to the Liverpool Connection podcast. I'm Dazza, Steve's with me, and we have our special guest today is the managing director, David MacDiarmid from the Steven Gerrard Academy. Hi, David.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Glad we finally got you on again. You know, I know we've been going back and forth for a while. You know, it's hard to take a look at Twitter messages these days.
There's too many platforms for getting messages, isn't there? Left, right, and centre. You know, you forget where they come in from.
Well, you got to spend half the day just checking your social media accounts. So yeah, I'm glad, happy to have you on. We usually first start out asking, you know, why a Liverpool fan? Obviously, I know you're a Scouser, but you know you can go the bad way. Why Liverpool Football Club? And you know, when was your first match?
Liverpool fan before I can remember anything else really. My dad, my granddad followed Liverpool home and away, as did, you know, all of friends and family that I was brought up in. So I had no other choice in that sense. So for as long as I can remember, I was that young. I can't remember my first match, but it was around 1982 when I was about 5, because I used to just get smuggled in, sit on my dad's knee on his lap in the main stand, and that's what happened for years following that until I moved into the Cop. So first match, 82. I just remember Dalglish and Rush, and that's what kind of captured my imagination.
Yeah, I mean that's probably like most kids in the 80s. You know, Kenny fans or Ian Rush fans, just because they were fantastic. So do you go to away matches as well?
Yeah, when I can get a ticket, which is most of the time, but you know the demand is huge, as you can appreciate. So the last match I went to away from home was Watford, just before lockdown last year, which was our first defeat of the season, wasn't it? But yeah, I tend to get to most away games, and fortunate enough to take my son now as well, so he's bang into it. And yeah, the away games are great. Missing them bad.
Yeah, I know. It's just like it's more of an adventure when you know you either take the train down or the coach, you know, to wherever. And you also go to European matches.
Yeah, when we can. Been to loads of Europeans over the years, European aways, and I think Barcelona away was 14 years ago today. The Craig Bellamy and Risa one, we were there, and yeah. So again, yeah, the majority of European aways, yeah, we get to them, and they all seem like a distant memory at the moment. Like, but no, some fantastic times attending them games.
Yeah, it's a weird one not having fans in. Do you feel the same? You know, yeah, we won last season. Do you feel the shines off of it though? You know, because we couldn't, like, the lads couldn't do the parade and everything.
Yeah, it's a tough one, really. I mean, yeah, they deserve so much more praise and celebration, and as the supporters and the fans and everything about it. So yeah, it was underwhelming, I suppose, in the end, because we were so amazing playing before that. The performances were so high and stuff. So yeah, it's like a bit of a come down to earth, and maybe that's part of the reason we are where the current situation with the team, maybe because such a high to kind of like no fans and or everything else that goes in that mix, really. So yeah, it was a strange one, celebrating watching an empty stadium on telly and stuff, and we should have been there and haven't waited so long as well.
Yeah, it was a weird one because it actually just finally hit me. I think this year, you know, that we're not going to be able to celebrate, but you know, if we do win the Champions League, then we can break out, you know, the Premier League trophy as well. So got fingers crossed, you know, we'll do well in the Champions League. I mean, you know, the way things are going. So what do you think some of the issues are? Do you think it is, you know, the mental fatigue?
I just think it's a number of factors, isn't it? Obviously, the well-documented ones of the massive high from winning the league to coming back to no pre-season, the obvious injuries from the span of the team, and then just maybe lack of form from some players, and then it's just like a kind of mix of a number of ingredients really, which it's just fine margins, isn't it? You know, Newcastle away, was it the 28th of December, and you know we had the chances to win that game. So if you come away having won that game, the knock-on effect is out, the confidence is high, but you know we missed a few real good chances, situations, and then confidence dipped, and then you know we weren't attacking people one-on-one in the box. We may be turning out when we should have been kind of, you know, trying to be a little bit more direct at times. So yeah, well, football's a funny game, isn't it? You know, we have had a few positive results, and we thought, oh yeah, that's it now. We're you know, we're back in the game, if you like. But and then we've took another blow. So there's no exact science to it, and you know, Klopp will be finding that solution, no doubt, and relentlessly trying to do so. So I don't think you can put your finger on one specific reason. I think just the number of factors come into the mix.
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, before like every match, you know, Klopp's going to come out and say this player's injured. It's getting pretty comical at the moment. You know, it's like nearly every other match a player goes down. You know, and I even listened back to what Hendo was screaming on the pitch. He was like, "You must be joking." I mean, it's unreal. You know. And I don't think enough is said by the pundits sometimes about the injury situation with Liverpool. Yes, other teams have, you know, injuries, but do they have 3 senior centre-backs out, you know, and having to play 2 of their best midfielders, you know, as centre-backs?
That's it. It's all about balance, isn't it, within the team? And, you know, the way we play is a certain way of playing. And, yeah, I think the key point probably is balance, because you know, we press the way we do, and then the midfield pick the second ball up quickly. But maybe we haven't been winning the ball back as quickly, and then therefore there's more emphasis on the defenders then, or more pressure on the defenders on the counter attack. That being said, the either new or the changing all the time. So, you know what I mean? I think the midfield not having that, you know, personnel in who are going to play it in a certain way is then asking more questions of a defence that's been ever changing, as I say, and so that must chip away in the players' minds, like the number of different partnerships and whatever else we've had there.
Yeah, because I think, you know, there's a lot of scrutiny on Thiago at the moment as well, you know, but you put Hendo and Fabinho next to him, you'll see the real Thiago, because at the moment he's playing too deep, so he's having to do a lot more running, you know, and he's 29 and he's probably not even used to, you know, that much running. So yeah, I just think we'll see the best of Thiago probably next season, hopefully.
Yeah, it's clear he's got tons of ability. His passing's top draw. So it's all about balancing in the system that's running smoothly, isn't it? The fullbacks, you know, we have a certain way of playing where the fullbacks then go, Mane come inside, Robbo goes outside him, and you know what I mean. Little things you can just see it's not running as smoothly at the moment, you know. So within that, Thiago's still got to find his way, and obviously feels a responsibility because he's probably with Ronaldo the 2 kind of common denominators in the midfield. So you know they're trying their best, but you know teams have kind of worked a way of playing out against us to frustrate us, and you know so it's then coming up with you know another way of getting through teams, which doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, doesn't it, to learn on the training ground and so
on. Steve?
Hey, David, good morning. Thanks for coming on our show. When the guys have told me that you're coming on, I was so excited because, you know, I've been a youth coach myself for about 15 years. So it always interests me to speak to, you know, high level, you know, academy directors and things like that, just kind of pick their brains. But I wanted for our viewers and listeners to kind of see if you can give us an overview of the Steven Gerrard Academy, when it was formed, and what the missions are, so that they can go and learn more about it themselves.
Yeah, sure. Myself and one of my fellow directors, there's 4 of us, but myself particularly and my fellow director, another Dave, you know, we just coached the Liverpool Academy for many years, early 2000s through to late 2012. David stayed on a little bit longer, to about 2015, and then, you know, worked with a lot of elite players there, and you see them all coming through. And we were just both working within the, you know, education system part-time, but full-time, but the academy was evenings when, you know, the groups are going in and developing them, the young players and so on. So, over 10 years ago now, 12 years ago, we just had an idea and thought, well, that's there for the elite players. Why not? Let's get this in place for, either the boys who've been released from an academy, the academy system, or for the top grassroots players, as it was initially, certainly in Liverpool, because it's a hotbed of talent. There's so many pro rata. I think Liverpool's got the most players outside London who are professional full-time in football in the UK and stuff. So, that's clear. The amateur game and semi-pro game in Liverpool is so strong, and the teams, the quality is so high, so many good players. So, yeah, we just thought that there was a gap, there was a need, and passionate about working with young people and seeing them develop. We just had the idea of setting up, a football education program as an alternative to the traditional sixth form in school, or the 16 to 18 provision as it is in the UK. So yeah, we went about it and set it up, and we just launched a pilot in year one. We approached Stephen as a Liverpool player at the time, and he's fully supportive and encouraging of us doing so. But it wasn't for him at that moment in time, because he was probably one of the best players in world football in his prime and stuff, and his focus is solely on doing that and maintaining that, as you can fully appreciate. But we had his backing from that moment, and he's always been behind the scenes supporting us and there to in any way that we needed. But with our Liverpool links, we linked in with Liverpool's foundation, as it was at the time, and just kind of linked up with them for a few years and got it running, and become really successful. And it was just about providing a first class education program for young people and a top class football coaching program alongside it. And it's just a package, and the football encompasses preparing them off the pitch with all the aspects through sports science, preparing them on the pitch with all the technical and tactical, the fitness that's required to be at the best level they can be, and give them an opportunity to move on and be the best they can be, whether that's in professional, which is rare, but it can happen, be it in semi-pro, or just progress and love and continue playing the game. And then the education then lends itself to progressing maybe into coaching, teaching, sports science typically. And a lot of our, certainly graduate students are now involved in them industries, working around the world, having, followed our program really. So, so we're all about that. And we've had plenty of success with students progressing to university, and as I say, over in the US in different parts, and on scholarships and so on. A couple have been professional in the US, actually, in the USL league, and done really well. But so in recent years, as we stepped away from Liverpool about 4 or 5 years ago, Liverpool FC, we just decided to go out down our own avenue and be the master of our own destiny, so to speak. And we started speaking to Stephen again. Obviously, he's got a different mindset, and as Stephen Gerrard, the coach, going down a management route, and perhaps sees life in a different way now. And he, we were delighted that he agreed to become more involved, and obviously lend us his name, in the sense that we actually became then Stephen Gerrard Academy.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, the mantra stays the same. It's still about the education of the football and being the best it can be. And we've coined the phrase of obsessed to be the best, and that applies to the football or the education.
Well, it seems like you guys were very successful from a player standpoint right from the beginning. Looking through the history of your accomplishments at the academy, your teams have won titles at the levels over there in the UK, but also coming over to the United States and competing in the Dr. Pepper Cup up in Dallas and winning titles there. So it seems like you're have a good quality of player that's coming over to you guys as well.
100%. Liverpool is a hotbed, as I say, of football, and there's so many good local players. Everyone plays, different abilities, and then and with that, we've had a few international boys come over to us from the US, from Uganda, from Australia, and so on, and such as the kind of, everyone loves the Premier League, and obviously Liverpool's seen as the capital of football, I suppose, and around the world, it's it's football crazy, isn't it? You know, similar to a few cities around the world, but Liverpool is one of them cities.
You know, being based in the States and, you know, Daza being from Formby, he kind of has both perspectives that, you know, the United States, the structure is a lot different, right? You have the developmental academies that are kind of associated with the MLS clubs, and then you have the tiers below that. And just, it's interesting to me how your system is set up there, and you're playing against not the academies from the Premier League teams, but kind of a tier below that, right? So, but you do graduate people to professional levels, like you said. So it always interests me to see that there are different pathways, because we've interviewed people in the past, the ex players, and you know, they didn't have those pathways. If they didn't make a professional team, they didn't really have anything to go back on. You know, they kind of really sacrificed their education to pursue football. So I think that's such a great motivating part of your guys' structure there.
Yeah, I think it's well documented now, and you know, the success stories are there, and even still, with some having to remind some students, like, come on, your education's most important, and but they're fixated or obsessed. I'm going to be a player. I'm going to be a player. But in reality, and the data tells us that it's few and far between those that do make it. So, you know, 100%, unless you want to be, you know, in a certain type of job, that you've got to get a good education. You've got to, you know, get the best education you can to take, you know, to pursue your dreams. And if you can't be involved as a player, well, then why not be involved in a player-facing role as a, you know, a sports scientist or in a, you know, football-related job, which is the second best thing, you know, certainly in our opinion.
What I know recently you guys got an association with the city of Liverpool FC. Can you kind of take us through that? How that's been able to give your players another avenue of playing, you know, professional football and stay in town?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, City of Liverpool are like the fastest growing kind of non-league club at the time when they formed. It's probably about 4 years ago now, similar. And so you see them coming up, and then, you know, they're developing, and they're kind of fan-owned and all done in sync with the values, which are pretty strong in Liverpool in terms of socialism and everyone helping each other and, you know, helping people out and stuff. So, yeah, there's good synergies there, really. And we knew some of the staff who were involved at the club, and we just saw a great pathway because it was well run, and, you know, it was all done for the right reasons, and they were looking to develop youth and integrate young players into the club. So at the time, we'd won the Dallas Cup in 2017, and our players were, you know, very, very good, and quite a few of them were just a little bit unfortunate not to get pro contracts at the time and stuff for whatever reason. So we kind of steered them towards City Liverpool, and at one point we had about 4 or 5 lads playing for them. And they had a fantastic team. You know, they were promoted a couple of times, and they've got to, you know, the Northern Premier League at the moment. But obviously, COVID's put paid to the last 2 seasons at the moment, so it's been a massive blow. But yeah, you know, real synergies there. It's a good standard of football, and our boys certainly, who from the Dallas Cup, who were involved in the squad, there was lots of people watching them at the time. You know, from, you know, League 2 sides, and, you know, considering, can we go and sign them or whatever. So while they're not full time, it was the next best thing in football, playing great football, fantastic fan base, and a well-run club behind the scenes with big plans and ambitions for the future, really. So some real good synergies there.
You know, I know you have your locations there in Liverpool, but you also have another location in Tenerife, right? And I was wondering if you can kind of share how that came about and if you're hiring. I need to go somewhere warm.
yeah, around the year. No, I mean, opportunities are coming to us all the time. Yeah. Obviously, the involvement with Stephen now is just phenomenal. The, you know, the messages that we get, and you've got to kind of go through it in the right way, from a due diligence and a responsible manner to make sure it's, one, going to be sustainable, 2, successful, and, you know, provide all the best for the students. So it was just through talks, and, you know, a good friend of mine, Jason, was living over in Tenerife. He's, you know, very experienced teacher. He taught in Manchester for many years with the Man U scholars, and like many who are in the first team now and a few years gone by. and he's over in Tenerife, and we were just talking, and we said, what an opportunity, because the facilities there in terms of T3, I'm not sure whether you're aware of it, it's a world-class facility where Olympians train, that, you know, clubs will go and do the winter break there and train there and so on. So, you know, we've got a site and a base, and Jason had the local knowledge, and he just said, look, you know, the young people, whether the UK based or UK origin or Europeans or from anywhere else in the world, offering at that age, they'll leave the island and go to mainland Spain or back to the home country to pursue their education, because it's quite limited, I suppose, in, you know, in some of the occupation that they can progress to in Tenerife. So, you know, it was a fantastic opportunity to say, well, look, let's get, rather than leave, let's get a football development program there. Let's get the coaching and the coaching skills all developed and in place, linking with clubs and hotels. And once, obviously, post-COVID, you know, you've got the links with the hotels, the coaching programs, the links with the pro clubs that we've established there now, with the players who we maybe send over from Liverpool, or the players who are based there can then go and have an experience with a club and potentially get signed at a Tenerife, or, you know, some of the other clubs who are on the island. So yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity, and the vision of the other directors who got at the club at Steven Gerrard Academy, they're looking to go over for periods of time, maybe over for 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time, and go and experience in other environments and training elite facilities.
Well, I imagine that the success that Gerrard is having at Rangers, that's not hurting your image at the Gerrard Academy.
Yeah, well, he's doing very well, isn't he? And, you know, the results speak volumes really of how the team are performing, and hopefully they keep driving forward. So, I mean, I think Stephen's reputation goes before anything as well, anyway, from all he's achieved in his career. He's obviously a world-class player, you know, a global icon really, and he's establishing himself as the next chapter now with his coaching and his, you know, managerial reputation's going fantastic. So yeah, as I said before, Liverpool is, you know, the capital of football, or one of them in the world. Steven Gerrard, it's big news.
I wanted to ask you a question. The type of curriculum that you guys have there at the program, and how you select the players to come in as part of the program. Is it a tryout basis? Is it more a scholarship type, or how do you guys make those selections?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, we're local. For local students, we're inclusive. So on our main site in South Liverpool, we'll have up to 150 young people with us, and we're inclusive. And in that, it's got to be a passion for football and willing to continue studying. They're the two main credentials. And with that, we can, you know, then interview them. We have a strict vetting process that if they're going to come to us as a young person, they've got to then meet all the criteria and expectations that, you know, Stephen and our standards, you know, deserve really, and to you know, conduct themselves in the right way. So we will have squads at under 17, 18 and 19, and maybe 2 squads at each age, plus a girls squad, and we're going to have 2 girls squads for this September 21. So if they hit certain levels in their academics with the GCSEs, they can come to us and study with their sport qualification, and then with that we find the right team for them. So they might be grassroots, but they might want to be a sports scientist, so therefore they can still have all our coaching of the team. The program is the same for every team in terms of the technical, tactical and game related aspects of our sessions that we provide for them. So every team will have a similar experience, but just play at a different level appropriate to their ability, because we're never going to put a grassroots player in with playing against a near pro team and whatever. We just want to progress them and then move forward as appropriate.
You know, that was interesting. You mentioned the girls side of the program, because it seems like that historically has been an unserved aspect of soccer in general, or football in general, even in the United States, even though we've led the world really in the investment into the women's program. And as you see, the quality of play every year is is increasing just because of the money being poured and the resources being poured into the women's game, especially there in England. You know, it seems to be a destination of all the top American players now going over there and playing. So you guys make that a concerted effort when you started to, let's make sure that we're giving equal attention to the female side.
Absolutely, it's very important to us. So I coached over in the States in New Jersey back in '98, and it was the first time I coached in America, and I was like, wow, how popular the girls' game was. It was massive, and you know, the girls' football was always there, certainly in the UK, but not at the level that it was in the States at the time. And coming home, you can just see the growth over the past 20 years with more and more playing up to recent times. And you know, the county FAs, like we work with the national FA, have made massive efforts to, you know, every club to be inclusive, to have a girls group, whether that be inclusive or elite, and develop them appropriately again. And I think as Steven Gerrard Academy, we're benefiting from the fantastic work that loads of grassroots clubs in Liverpool are putting in, and all the positive role models on the TV playing in the, you know, the Women's Super League and so on. And yeah, we've got a talented group now. They're brilliant girls with big ambitions, and you know, really going to do well. And you know, some real talents. We had girls travel over up to us from the Midlands who have moved to Liverpool literally for our program. And it's not on a scale as the lads at the moment, because a lot of girls will go, well, I'm studying A levels or whatever. But now it's clear that you can study like A level and BTEC and combine it with the football program and still develop and aim for the scholarship in America, or get to the clubs in the UK, in England. You know, your Blackburns, Liverpools, Evertons, etc., who've got fantastic girls programs.
Deza?
I wanted to ask you, like, what's a normal day for the students? Is it like wake up, football, math, football? Like how is their days?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we based it on an academy model. Having worked at Liverpool Academy, we were all around that, and we knew how the days worked and what, you know, what the players in this case would work come students. So we just try and make it as exciting and vibrant and dynamic as possible. The focus is always on the education. That is, you know, the most important thing, absolutely. But then the football obviously adds the motivation and the X factor into it, whereby they are studying in the morning. So typical day, I'll go for a Monday, not at the moment because it's online, but so they might, certain groups will meet in the gym at 8 o'clock on a Monday morning. They might do a strength conditioning session, get themselves right for the day, and then they'll be in lesson 9:30. They might be studying for their sport qualification in the morning. Then they'll have lunch. After lunchtime, if they need to do any math or English, then so be it, they'll do that. And then come 2 o'clock, they might have a short technical session, you know, focus on certain aspects of the game, you know, technical, whether it's turning, passing, whatever you want to break it down into. And then they will go and train for 90 minutes, 2:30 till 4, within a team setting on the amazing facilities. There's been massive investment on all our facilities with the 4G, and you know, which had to be done with the amount of rain we get in England at the moment. So they'll train for 90 minutes. It's pretty much the same on a Tuesday. Wednesday is lesson, then game prep, and then Wednesday afternoon they are travelling literally all around, certainly the north of England, playing against other clubs, teams, etc. at high level. Thursday is recovery day, bit of gym, and an academic day. And then Friday is academic, football, or, you know, cool down in the afternoon, or working on fitness if they've missed game time and so on. So yeah, it's an exciting week. And then we link in with then the City Liverpools at the weekend and the semi-pro clubs, where we can then try and get them to the most appropriate places to, you know, to really realise their potential.
Is it like a dormitory where they actually stay, or do they, you know, come from their own homes?
Yeah, so the local students will just travel from home, travel from the northwest as possible. Those from further afield will just stay in digs. You know, similar to an academy system. If, you know, if they're from beyond a certain point, they will stay with house parents. And and kind of live in a way that a young scholar would. So they're looked after and all their needs met by house parents. They're looked after, fed, who liaise with their parents to give them a great environment, and that's very much so what happens for the international students.
Yeah, I think it's great, that they have these meal plans as well, because I know me growing up, I'd eat so much crap, as every teenager does. But for them to get these meal plans where it's all healthy, that must be brilliant for them.
Yeah, it is, and obesity, mental health, it's all in the same kind of mix, isn't it? And it's so important. So I mean, all we can do is give advice and guidance. We can't force anyone to do anything, but all the information's there now with all the sports science, and we're saying, look, this is what you need to be eating at this time, and breaking it all down for them. And obviously that's reinforced through the qualifications also, because that's lends itself to the qualification itself. And they're pretty well informed, and they're aware of the fitness levels, how high they can jump, the levels of fat in the body, and sports science really goes into all that. So if they want to be the best they can be, and they've got them aspirations of being a top player, then it's all the 1% and 2% that will make that difference. To have a chance to kick on, or just to realise their potential. But going in back to the grassroots player, who are equally as important to us, it's them just being the best they can be as well. You know what I mean? So where they may have come in as just a grassroots, they enjoy playing with mates, and that's fine. We have squads whereby they will train, and they've never been coached before. They're just probably turning up for the local teams, and they're enjoying it, and it's fantastic socially and all that. But now they're learning about a 4-3-3 and a 4-2-3-1, and why it's important, and where they can run, and so you're really educating them in that. And then from that, one of them boys or girls might say, you know what, I love that, I might want to be a coach, that's inspired me. So there's all different spin-offs to it from there.
Wanted to ask you also about your background as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I said, I always followed Liverpool, but I've always played as long as I can remember. And my memories of playing were literally in my mum and dad's garden, reenacting like Kenny Dalglish trying to curl it in the top corner. I remember them goals he scored, his 100th goal against Ipswich away, and he curls in the top corner. And I just remember just practicing things like that non-stop. Then you play in the street with your mates, and it was street football literally. And then when you got that little bit older and you could wander a little bit further, you just play non-stop on the field with your friends, and jumpers for goalposts as it was. And then you progress into the local team, and I played for my local team initially, Halewood Juniors, with just local grassroots, and we had a great team, taught how to play football in the eyes of our coaches, who were great men. And it was passing it round, left foot, right foot, keeping the game simple, and great principles really that probably were in Liverpool Academy way back from the Shankly and all that, because they were like of that ilk, the guys who ran our teams, and ended up working at Liverpool themselves and stuff, and they taught us a great deal. Brilliant. So I played for Halewood Juniors, and then both of the guys who ran the team, Benny Maloney and Arthur Edwards, were fantastic, and they were both working at Liverpool, and just took me into Liverpool Academy. It was Liverpool School of Excellence at the time. When I was 11 years of age, it was like, wow, you're going into Liverpool, and used to give me a lift because my dad was working, say, in the Ford factory at the time on shifts and all that. So we used to go into Vernon Sangster, which was just in the stone's throw away from the ground, and the car park now in Stanley Park, and we used to just train in there in a sports hall. And and it was, look, at the time I never knew, but there was loads of players amongst us who were top drawer and went on to become professional. And I was at Liverpool till I was like 15, 16, and then I was released, and you gutted and all that, but you just went to other clubs at that time. And in between them times I played for the schoolboys, local schoolboy teams, which is the best team of your area, so to speak, and competed against all the top players and stuff. So I had a good innings as a junior player. And then once you kind of start going towards the as it was then. It's changed now, like with what we're running, because we're going up to under 23 now, and there's a big development phase there. But come like 15, 16, we were playing for Speak Town then with Peter and Abbo. Our coaches were great, and we had a brilliant team, and you're training with Tranmere and Berries are looking at you, and then Man City, and then another scout, legend of Liverpool, Sid Benson, took me into Everton, and I'm training with Everton players of all, like Dave Watson, Precky, Bob DePaul, Billy Kenny at the time, and doing really well. And you just don't get kept on at them places at the time, so you're just thinking, you know what, I'm just going to have to be the best I can be and just going forward. So we just love playing, and then ended up playing like Saturday semi-pro and Sunday league at like just real high levels, real top draw levels, really, for the love of the game. So that was my career, really, in a nutshell.
When did you realise like you wanted to be a coach?
When I was playing 18, 19, and I still thought I was going to be professional. You're just obsessed, and you think, no, I'm good enough. And with hindsight, I think I probably was. It's just maybe a bit of luck at the right moment. So it never happened, and so be it. But one of my friends, Gary, was going coaching in America, in New Jersey, as I said before, and he said, oh yeah, we go away every summer, 8 weeks. So you finish your season, school, uni, whatever it is, and you go and coach for 2 months in America or 6 weeks. And I just got my coaching badge on the strength of that. I thought, wow, that sounds good. And went over to New Jersey and just done all camps, coaching grassroots to elite teams for a few summers. And so I just pursued my coaching badges then. And then with having been in the Liverpool system, I had my level 2 at that point. And then they said, look, do you want to come and coach at Liverpool? Of course I would, you know what I mean? And we just started coaching back, say, 99, I'd say it was, 98, 99 for Liverpool, in the community, coaching in the, little bits in the academy and whatever else. And then UEFA B come up. So we just went on our UEFA B with a great group of coaches, really. And that's where the coaching all started, really, over 20 years ago.
David, it's interesting. You mentioned your time in New Jersey, because it seems like there was a huge influx of expats that came to the United States, and a lot of them stayed. After Dazen not included, but that they just stayed around to keep coaching. At the grassroots level, like you said, and so you were able to escape the grasp of the monetary system that's is really pervasive in the the United States soccer community, whether it's be for players or even coaching. It costs so much to even get your badges here in the United States. There seems such a barrier of entry for a lot of that. And it's interesting to me, being inside there, just the difference of how the United States system is versus the UK system. We all remember Iceland being a success at the Euros, and finding out that they have a coach, one coach for almost every 10 players or something ridiculous like that. They make it easy for people to get badges. Do you have any like insight or into why that is, or could it be how it can be improved? Because I'm interested, obviously, in seeing the progression of the United States caliber of player as well. But it seems like there's just some things that are missing in that system.
Yeah, I think compared to the UK, as I said before, in Liverpool, everyone plays from as soon as you can walk, you're kicking a ball around, and then you just walk into a grassroots team like I did, and children continue to do so. So it's what you do. Everyone gives the time here voluntary. I'm running my son's Sunday league club team at the moment, and you give up your time free of charge. Therefore, there's no cost. And history tells us, I suppose, that a lot of the best players come from very much working class backgrounds. If you think of the headlines in Liverpool, be it Rooney, Gerrard, Carragher, for example, that's where they all come from. And right across the UK, that's pretty much the same. There's something in your DNA where you've got that desire, hunger, the street football element, you're self-taught, and so on. So I think America is a different environment totally, isn't it? Where you will play through all the soccer camps when you're growing up, but then as you get older, it becomes more of a paying sport. So that kind of reels some in, it reels some out. There's a big drop off on those who do play, because if you're going on scholarship, for example, if you're going into a college, university, you might be better at American football or basketball, so you'll lose a lot of players there. And then if they were in, I'm going to say, Houston Dynamo's academy, for example, up until they go to college, then they'll go to college in wherever in the US, and their program mightn't be as good developing them. Wherever college that may be, it's not the intensity, the season's shorter, it's fair to say. They'll only play between September and Christmas, depending on how they progress in their season. So, again, there's loads of factors, but I imagine. There's loads of talent, 100%, because I know from playing in the Dallas Cup, there's some real good teams, and you can see it year on year getting stronger. And we played the FC Dallas in recent times, and you can see the strength in them and the potential in them, and it'd be interesting to track some of their players. So I do think it is moving forward, but why isn't it like the UK? I don't know. It seems that the US, as I say, the World Cup generation come through, and they were all playing, and they had a strong team, but maybe they haven't kind of kicked on. I don't know the answer to that, because I'm not on the ground enough, I suppose, in the US.
Yeah, it's pretty complex. It's more of a talking point than trying to find solutions. But you did mention, the street level type of soccer player, and you kind of think back of, when you had Kenny was at his heyday, but then, John Barnes comes in, and it's totally a revolutionary type player, right? And now you see, Raheem Sterling and Grealish and different type of player. Are you seeing that more coming up through the ranks of the youth, the technical abilities, things like that?
Yeah, the game's changed. Even the demographic in the UK has changed, in the sense of, I know I can relate to my own son and his friends and children of a similar age. The time when you'd finish your online study as it is now, and then I'm in the back garden and playing football. That's what I did. Or I'm in the street. Now go on the Xbox and play FIFA. And so I don't think a lot of children are practicing as much as what they used to, which is really, really important. So but with that, there are a lot, there's a lot of talented boys playing, and girls, and there's a lot of good coaching going on. So the coach education over a number of years has been good in the UK. It's not cheap, but it is affordable if there's a kind of desire to do that. So the children are getting good coaching at grassroots level. If they're lucky enough to get into an academy system as well, the coaching's very, very good, very technical now. A lot of clubs are looking for athletic players combined with the athleticism, and the technical. So therefore you're getting a Grealish and a Raheem Sterling, I suppose. And with that, there's a lot of technical players coming through, with Curtis Jones and so on. You know what I mean? There's a lot of players coming through like that now, where tackling is prohibited in many aspects. The things you would have got away with years ago, there's no chance of that happening now. Even watching a game from even 10 years ago on the TV or whatever, it's like, yellows are red, etc. To the point where tackling is, an art form that's being lost. But with that, more technical players maybe do flourish. So, if you're getting a street footballer who's a real technician, then maybe more of them will come through now as we're progressing. And I think England at a national level have got a real good, strong base of young, technical, athletic players now. Seem to be quite strong, which is quite exciting nationally for England.
Yeah. We've mentioned the Dallas Cup. It's a youth tournament in the Dallas area. For those who aren't familiar with it, probably one of the most prestigious youth tournaments in the world that, is held there. And when you come and participate in a tournament like that, you're able to see different styles of play because there's teams from all over the world that are participating. Have you, in the recent years, have you seen a type of play or maybe a country's cultural style that's starting to be more prevalent, and you can look at them and say, man, they're going to be on the world stage one day, that this type of football is going to really be successful?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was lucky enough to play in a tournament myself in 1996.
Okay.
And as Knowsley, who's still playing it now. and they go to Austin most years as well. Over the years, they haven't been last few years. But I played for Knowsley myself, and we were in a fantastic team. Lee Trundle, who had a great career, certainly with Swansea City. Brilliant player. He was in our team, and we had a number of other great players, and we got to the quarter final, and we played Costa Rica national side, who were unbelievable. And they beat us on the day 2-1, I think it was. And the Americans were okay, but just athletic, without much flair in them and workmanlike. But then fast forward, then I started going to Dallas, the Dallas Cup in 2013. First of all on a recce to have a look and think, is this tournament for us as as Steven Gerrard Academy? Or is this the good environment? Is the calibre high? And again, we were like, wow, this is really progressing. And year on year, you can see that. Whether it's the team coming over from Cedar Stars, over from New York, or whether it was the California Rush coming over, at like just below the academy level. You could see them players who were in them systems. One of the boys from California Rush had just come back from on trial at Wolfsburg a few years ago with us in 2016, and he played against us for the Rush, and he was unbelievable. He was like Mahrez, you know what I mean? But there was a bit of, I think he was originally from South America. So with that, the second, third generation of, Americans coming forward as well, there's a real mix there now. So, obviously there's a few players that at Chelsea, been at Dortmund and so on, American-wise and stuff. So the talent is there. It is developing. And the Dallas Cup year on year is getting stronger. And as I say, the coaching's evolving, and the coaches are all so much more aware, wherever they are from around the world. The Dallas tournament's just unbelievable. It is literally, my colleagues have been to tournaments literally globally with Liverpool Academy and other clubs and whatever, and everyone says, no, Dallas Cup is the one. And we're blessed that we've got a fantastic relationship with the Dallas Cup, and you know what I mean, having won it, been in a final, semi-final and so on. It's a staple of our annual calendar really, and something we all look forward to, and we're gutted not to be there again this year.
Yeah, I know our supporters club up in Dallas, they were very excited when you guys came down a few years ago, go out and watch a little bit of some Scouser football, so they were happy to wear their reds and cheer you guys on. I remember them talking about that experience. So
yeah, we had fantastic support, and just being from the city, they turn up with like flags and just giving it, because the Americans parents certainly become a lot more passionate certainly in recent years, and animated, and like in previously they might have been a little bit more reserved and whatever else. And so the support was like fantastic that we've had, and they've always been brilliant. All the supporters who come up from Austin, and we've got a guy Owen who comes up from Houston every year, and other guys in Dallas itself, and it's brilliant. We've got long-standing friendships now. It's amazing, like it's brilliant.
Yeah, you're talking about the parents' passion. This is the first year that I haven't been able to coach my son, because he just got to the level right under the DA here, and so now I have to sit with the parents, and I'm like, man, I don't like it on this side. I need to go back to the other side. These guys are too crazy on this side.
Yeah. It got lively. It's got lively a little bit, like, and it's passionate. Again, I suppose it's been like that in England at certain points, and then they bring out initiatives to kind of how people must conduct themselves, and how it's got to be in the best interest of the players on the pitch. Because if people are screaming and putting pressure on them, it's not an ideal environment. Although it is nice to play in an exciting environment, but where it becomes oppressive is a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I think some parents think their kid is like the next Ronaldo or Messi, so they put so much pressure on him, because I did some part-time coaching, and just listening to some of the parents is like, you need to calm down.
Yeah, it is. Enjoy, support, encourage, but within the realms of kind of being respectful and putting your son off. I've seen it in England and Liverpool, son, daughter can end up in tears because you're putting that much pressure on them and you can't perform. So that's not good for anyone, is it? It's just but yeah, no, so point being, the passion is there, and I see the game progressing in America all the time, and there's real talent there. But in terms of the system, it just probably needs tweaking somehow, and I don't know what the solution is, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, David, you know, we appreciate you taking time out for us today, and we hope that you return to the Dallas Cup, you know, if not this year, but soon, and you give us a shout so we can make the 2.5 hour drive up there and hopefully have a personal meeting face to face with you.
Oh, no, I would love that. I mean, we're the plans are underway for 2022. We're speaking to them already, and the players have got their mind on it because, you know, it's a fantastic thing to look forward to, you know. And I'd love to see us up there, by the way.
Yeah, we'll be there.
So one last question for you, David. So, you know, how has the academy been running during the pandemic for you?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but it's, you know what, it's been running really well. We had this time last year, obviously, when we went online. So literally, because of the nature of our football, falls into the kind of grassroots level, because it's not elite level as such, even though our players are very good. We play in fantastic leagues, in the National Football Youth League, and so on. So the standards are very high. So the challenge is for every student to be online, studying like anywhere around the world. And then we're setting training programs with the sports scientists, the timed runs, the online live Zooms. Stephen's been, you know, good enough to come on live to them a number of times and, you know, be giving them motivational, you know, chats in terms of it's the same whether you're a Rangers or, you know, Liverpool or anywhere around the world. You've still got to do the basics in terms of, you know, train, do things right. And, you know, we've got big announcements coming up, certainly from our academy, in the sense of, like, they've missed out on Dallas, the Dallas Cup, and, you know, the being under the spotlight of scouts and coaches or whatever. So we've got some big plans for them in the sense of getting them motivated to kind of maybe take the next steps in their game as well. So to showcase them. And so, yeah, it's been a challenge, but it's kind of like getting them up to match speed again now is going to be tough. But it's a challenge everyone's ready for, really. And the young people are up for it, they're passionate about it. But, you know, it's been a dark time everywhere, hasn't it? So it's, you know, hopefully we're seeing a bit of light now and we can move forward and get playing, get travelling and you know, enjoying life again.
Yeah, I hope so. Get down the pub again.
yeah, and getting the stadium again.
Oh man, that'd be so great. Yeah, I'm hoping to come back home in August. So yeah, I've been hearing hopefully UK adults will be vaccinated by at least the end of July. So, you know, there is some light at the end of the tunnel, as they say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We got to get back in that stadium because Liverpool Football Club needs us, and we need Liverpool Football Club as well. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a telling factor. I think when the team isn't performing at the top level, you know, the crowd are always there and they galvanise, and, you know, Klopp's got no one to turn to, and, you know, it's all in sync, isn't it, when we're on song, and that's what makes it so special, really, for Liverpudlians. And so them ingredients are definitely missing at the moment, like.
Yeah, because, you know, you can definitely tell Klopp is one that feeds off the energy of the crowd, you know, and you just see him looking around going, oh, crap, there's no one here.
Yeah. No, absolutely, yeah, it is. Spot on.
Well, David, it's been an absolute pleasure. Love, you know, hearing about the academy. I'm sure a lot of Americans would love to come over. And I know me and Steve are booking a trip to Tenerife.
That's right.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, just to say, I mean, we are hosting like 3-month stays for certainly young people from America. If you want to come over and have an experience, whether because they're studying online at the right moments, whether that's later this summer and so on, so they can come over for 3 or 6 months for an experience, which is fantastic for them to do, and, you know, live and breathe what we do here every day, playing games and stuff, and undergo the training program. So that's something that we're speaking to a number of people in America about at the moment in terms of getting their club's players over to come to Liverpool. So more than welcome to chat with anyone who's interested.
And where can they get more info for it from the website?
Yeah, I mean, StephenGerrardAcademy.com or on our socials. So the info at StephenGerrardAcademy.com is on the website, or they can directly message us off our socials with the parents, ideally, on Instagram or whatever, and you can see everything that's going on and so on, and we can arrange a chat and kind of explain more.
I had one question before we leave. Sorry, I just thought of this. You know, obviously, you know, there's LFC of America, the youth program here in the United States. Has there been any thoughts about trying to expand your curriculum to base something out of the United States or any other location?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, we're going to Tenerife, and we're in like closer, but like Northern Ireland. You know, this coming September, and certainly Tenerife, and there are talks and ideas of where we can, you know, look at further around the world, such as the interest with Stephen as well, and you know, everything that we do in the program. And there's some fantastic clubs who we, you know, we're all about partnership and working together with people. We never want to turn up and say, you know, we're doing this. It's all about who can we work with, who can we support, and you know, to the better of experience of the young person, really. So that's something we, you know, we're looking at in the future.
Great. Yeah. Very exciting times for sure.
Get down to Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah. You come to Austin and then we'll go somewhere else.
That's right. We're going to Tenerife, man. Well, David, it was a pleasure, man. It was an honor to meet you finally. And I'm sure that we'll keep in touch after this.
Oh, no, lovely. Yeah. Please keep in touch. And you're on the Twitter anyway. You're on Instagram or?
Yeah. Instagram as well. Got all that social media stuff.
Yeah. Get on the Instagram at Stephen Gerrard Academy and stuff. But yeah, keep in touch, and you know, when we're over, hopefully next year, we can hook up and all that. That'd be brilliant. Really good.
I appreciate it. Yeah, sound.
Brilliant. Cheers, guys. Nice one.
Cheers, Dave.